Hi there, I'm Travis, and I would like to welcome you to Why Is That? Thank you for joining me for the introductory episode of my new podcast. This episode is not required listening, but it gets my RSS feed started, and for people like me who like it when a podcast has an introduction, it gives that. As mentioned at the beginning, my name is Travis, and I will be your host. My goal is to explore things that we encounter in our daily lives and explain the story behind them. The instances where you might encounter something and think, why is that? An example of this would be like the names of the months of our years. Why is it called February? June? I know for September, if you break up the word, then the root of the word is septum. From a numerical perspective, septum denotes 7. That is why September is the 9th month of the year. Okay, why is that? Don't worry, you'll not have to wait long for that answer, as I will be covering the names of the months in our first episode of the podcast, which is due out on this Sunday, February 25th, 2018. Other things that I plan to explore include St. Patrick's Day, origins of certain phrases, why Istanbul is not Constantinople, and why I could say that this year is the year 2018, 2771, 1467, 6768, 1425, 7526, 5778, 12,018, and I would be correct in each of those assertions. There are some really interesting stories that are often overlooked that explain our world today and that are more or less forgotten, taken for granted, or just not talked about. I will save you from the time-consuming process of Googling these phenomena, and I'll actually research those sources to make sure that I present the correct information. My hope is to create both a fun and entertaining show, but also an informative one. My plan right now is to have most episodes average at around 15 minutes per episode, but certain shows could be longer or shorter based on what I cover for the day. The schedule for the show will be to release shows every 2 weeks, and I hope I am able to keep that schedule. I plan to make this both a video and audio podcast. The videos will be hosted on YouTube and the audio on Acast, though I will make the audio available on all the various podcast applications that you have come to know and love. I have many ideas and events that I plan on covering, but I also would love to know, what you are interested in learning about. For those of you watching the show on YouTube, you can just write a comment and I'll be sure to read it. For the rest of you, you can either email me at whyisthatpod@gmail.com, tweet the show at whyisthatpod, or join the Facebook group by searching for the Why Is That podcast on Facebook. And yes, you heard that correctly. I've chosen to follow in the footsteps of the When Diplomacy Fails podcast and create a group rather than a show page. A group allows a little bit more participation, and I'm hoping it becomes a little bit of a community on there. The final location is the website, whyisthatpodcast.blogspot.com. All right, that just about does it for this introductory episode. Thanks for taking the time out of your day to listen or watch the beginning of this new show. Be sure to subscribe on YouTube or any of your favorite podcast applications, including but not limited to Acast, Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Google Play, and Podcast Addict. Okay, as promised, that was short but sweet. Thank you for tuning in to the introductory episode for the Why Is That podcast. Enjoy the rest of your day. Cheers.